Welcome to this Imago artist interview. I am Rena Naik. I am an Imago artist member. I am joined here today with Pascal Lord, who is also an artist member. We are here to interview Amy Sutherland, who is an Imago artist member. She is going to be one of the highlighted artists in the upcoming exhibit at Imago. Amy is a ceramic sculptor. She graduated from Skidmore College with a Bachelor of Science in Arts in Sculpture. Welcome, Amy.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, we have a few questions for you today. Could you speak about what brought you to sculpture?
Well, I went into college not really knowing what I wanted to study, and I happened upon a sculpture class that I just fell in love with art and sculpture and just working with my hands. It just allowed me a breath of fresh air just to be able to express myself through my hands without really being able to have to use my brain too much, just kind of letting it naturally flow from my fingers. So I just kind of fell in love with it.
Okay, and now could you speak a little bit about your inspiration, especially your intriguing series with your title, People Watching?
Yeah, so a lot of my inspiration comes from just observing people, finding their quirks in their fashion and just mannerisms and finding the humor in that, and also just finding maybe underlying psychological issues. So a lot of it is just playing around with that and just seeing what I see and letting it come into my pieces.
Yeah, they are very interesting. Could you speak about what are your major art influences?
One of my all-time favorite artists is Wesley Anderegg. He's another ceramicist, and he's got some really weird ceramic sculptures, and he's got some functional pieces and just characters that I kind of fell in love with. They've got these weird skin textures and just funky faces and weird expressions. So he's been a huge inspiration for me.
Okay. Could you share a bit about your process and the material you are using in your creation?
So my primary material is clay. Recently, I've been expanding a little bit more on what that means to me, since traditionally with ceramics, you want it to be clay, then bisque fired, then glazed, then fired again, and then voila, you have a ceramic piece. Versus now I've been playing around more with different types of firing. So putting it in my backyard fire pit and just seeing what happens. And then just using different types of materials like nail polish, acrylic paint, different things just to find new textures, new colors, and kind of expand just from ceramics to a whole much broader sculpture thing.
Okay, could explain, the last one of the New Year piece you put in the gallery, you work with, you introduce some wood and some rope. Can you explain a bit about this new introduction in your work?
Yeah, so that actually came out of what was ingrained in me a very long time ago in one of my sculpture classes, that every single piece you have needs a base. And that just stuck with me for some reason. So I found this piece of wood, I think on a beach somewhere, and I've just been saving it for a couple of years, just waiting for the right piece to put it with. So when I was creating these little, like almost egg-like characters, I figured that they needed a nest to sit in. And I thought that they would fit perfectly on that little piece of wood. So that's how it came together.
And the rope?
And the rope, that's just some like twine on a wire that I use to kind of build that little nest there. So
very interesting, very, different, not different, but very, like you see an evolution in your work. So that's very intriguing and interesting.
Could you talk about, so this is where your work has come from. We will see, and viewers who would come to see the gallery, in the gallery would see a lot of your different types of pieces. And they are all from different series, or is that all from one series?
No, this one, they're all pulled from different series. I think some are just kind of exploration pieces. Others are from, I think one's from the Junkyard series, and then I'm not sure where the other ones are from. I can't really remember, but they're all just little favorites that I pulled from here and there that I thought would be kind of fun to look at all together.
Okay. Where do you think your work is going next?
I don't really know. I kind of just use art as a means of play. So I kind of just let it take me where it wants to. It kind of depends on my own mental state, what's going on in the world around me. So I'm just letting it have fun and explore.
Well, that's a really fantastic. We wish you continued adventures and explorations in art, and your pieces are fantastical. We highly recommend everyone take a look at them. And thank you so much, Amy, for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks for having me.